Today we are in our last lesson of Unit 4. So this is Unit 4, Module 3, Session 5, and it's about mass amounts. So, all right, before we get into the actual lesson, I just wanted to go over the answers to your home connection from the other day. So running the race, it said to use an open number line to model and solve problems 1 and 2. So number 1 was that Anna started a race at 9:30. She ran for 3 hours and 47 minutes. What time did she finish? So she started at 9:30. From 9:30 to 12:30 was 3 hours. And then 3 hours and 30 minutes would take you to 1 o'clock. And then 17 more minutes would take you to 1:17. For number 2, Michael and Tyler both ran a half marathon. Michael finished in 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 13 seconds. Tyler finished in 97 minutes, 49 seconds. Who was faster? Tyler was faster. How much faster? He was faster by 4 minutes and 24 seconds, and there is an example of a number line that you might use for that problem. And then Takumi ran the first mile of his race in 450 seconds. How many minutes was his first mile? 7.5 minutes. And finally, Johanna used tiles to build a rectangular array with an area of 54. List all of the possible dimensions, 1 times 54, 2 times 27, 6 times 9, and 3 times 18. And then running the race, page 2. What is 329,456 rounded to the nearest 10? That would be 329,460. Rounded to the nearest 100 is 329,500. Rounded to the nearest 1,000 is 329,000. Number 6. Fill in the bubble to show which number listed below is closer to 445,890. That would be 450,000. Number 7. If you wanted to round 373,417 to the nearest 10,000, which number below would you choose? 370,000. And then there was a challenge. The answers will vary, okay, but it says Linda plans to sign up for 3 field day events. She wants to run a total of more than a kilometer, but less than 1.5 kilometers. Which 3 events should she sign up for? Her choices are the 100-meter dash, the 200-meter dash, the 400-meter dash, the 200-meter hurdles, the 300-meter hurdles, the 800-meter run, and the 1,600-meter run. If Linda decides to do one of each event, she has to 2 choices, the 400-meter dash, the 200-meter hurdles, and the 800-meter run, which would equal 1,400, which is 1.4 kilometers, or the 200-meter dash, the 300-meter hurdles, and the 800-meter run, which would bring her to 1,300 meters or 1.3 kilometers. If she does the same type of event twice, she has more options, as you can see that are listed here below. So no matter what, Linda must do the 800-meter run to reach her goal. All right. Okay. So now let's get into this lesson. This is mass amounts, and like I said, this is the last lesson of this unit. Ms. Holland and I have decided that the next part of the unit is going to be really too tricky for us to do from a remote learning standpoint, and we really want to cover the standards that are the most important. So we're going to move into Unit 5 after this, okay? All right, so in this lesson, we will explore grams, kilograms, ounces, and pounds as we go back to the original problem from the beginning about the runners in the race. We will try to figure out how much watermelon to purchase for the runners. All right, hold on a second here. My Apple Pencil likes to disconnect, so I have to reconnect it. Always some sort of a problem, right? Okay, there we go. All right, so if you remember, this is the chart from before that we've been talking about. So we've covered length, we've covered time, and we've covered volume and capacity a little bit. So now today we're just going to talk about the ounces, pounds, kilograms, and grams. All right, so we can measure weight with pounds. So for example, Rizzo, my dog, he's about 30 pounds, okay? We can use grams to measure mass. So our gram cubes that we actually don't have, obviously I don't have them here with me right now, but we have gram cubes at school, and those are about 1 gram. And then a standard dictionary, which I know that you have, your dictionary on your iPad, but if you can think back to what a standard dictionary, those big, thick books we have, and there's a few of them in the classroom, those are about 1 kilogram, okay? So today we will investigate mass and weight. Okay, so here's that chart from before. So the distance challenge flyer. Run Far Distance Challenge. Remember that there was a 7-race scenario or series includes the 5K, the 10K, the 10 miler, the 18K, the half marathon, the 30K, and the marathon. And that the 10K course record for men was 27 minutes and 49 seconds. And the 10K course record for women was 31 minutes and 31 seconds. So we are going to use the chart today to help. In addition to water stations, organizers of the race also provide fruit for the runners to eat after the race. So the Distance Challenge organizers have decided to provide 200 grams of watermelon per runner, okay? So think about how much watermelon that is. 200 grams of watermelon per runner. Okay, so if the Distance Challenge organizers have decided to provide 200 grams of watermelon per runner, think about how much watermelon that is. Well, for the number of runners, if we had one runner, that would be 200 grams, like it says right here, right? And if we had 2 runners, that would be 400 grams. If we had 3 runners, that would be 600 grams. Notice that you're multiplying by 200 each time. If you had 4 runners, that would be 800 grams. And if you had 5 runners, that would be 1,000 grams or 1,000. So 1,000 grams is the same thing as 1 kilogram. So how many kilograms are equivalent to 4,000 grams? 4,000 grams. All right, well, here we go. If 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams, then how many kilograms are 4,000? To get from 1,000 to 4,000, I multiply by 4. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. If I multiply by 4, that's 4 kilograms. So the organizers need to be prepared for larger numbers of runners so that they don't run out of watermelon. So the question is, how much watermelon do you think you would be needed for 30 runners? And could we express this number in kilograms and in grams? Okay, so for 30 runners. Now, if we think back to the previous page for a second here, if you think back to the previous page and how for 5 runners it was 1,000, right? Okay, so we want to figure out how much watermelon we would need for 30 runners. All right, so this problem takes a couple of steps. First, we have to figure out how many grams are for 30 runners. So if one runner needs 200 grams, right? So we could make a ratio table like this right here with this information. If one runner gets 200 grams, then 10 runners would get 2,000 grams, right? Okay, 1 runner, 200 grams. 10 runners, 2,000 grams. Then if we just tripled this, we should have the number of grams for each runner. And from there, we would just need to figure out how many kilograms that would be altogether. I apologize. I'm just going to move myself because I think that my family is trying to play the drums. And I don't want that to distract our math lesson. So I am going to move real quick here. So again, so if we just tripled this, we should have the number of grams for each runner. And from there, we would just need to figure out how many kilograms that would be all together. Okay, so here we go here. So for 1 runner, that's 200 grams. And for 3 runners, that's 600. Like we said, for 10 runners, that's 2,000. So if we were to just triple that for 30 runners, that's 6,000, right? So if 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams, then 6 kilograms would be 6,000. So that's how we would figure out that one. So how much watermelon is needed for 30 runners? For 30 runners, we would need 6,000 grams of watermelon or 6 kilograms of watermelon. So again, that would be 6 kg or 6,000 G. All right, so here's a new scenario for you that uses ounces instead of grams. So when the organizers go to the store to purchase the watermelon, though, they found that it was sold in ounces instead of grams. So they decided that they needed 8 ounces per runner. Okay, in case you forgot, a gram is a metric unit of measurement, and an ounce is a customary unit. So when you think about when you were born, maybe you were 7 pounds, 10 ounces or something like that, and there are 16 ounces in a pound. Okay, so we are typically, when we talk about how much we weigh, we are so many pounds and so many ounces, okay? So How many ounces do you think the organizers would have to purchase for those 30 runners? All right, so see if you can figure that out. How many ounces do you think the organizers would have to purchase for 30 runners? See if you can figure that out. You might want to get yourself a piece of paper if you haven't got one already. And I apologize for not telling you that sooner, boys and girls. Okay. So how many ounces? So we need, remember, 8 ounces per runner. So for the runners, so if there were one runner, it would be 8 ounces. Think about how many ounces for 30 runners. All right. So how many ounces do you think the organizers would have to purchase for 30 runners? Well, like you just saw me making, for one runner, it would be 8 ounces, okay? So imagine you had 3 runners. Well, 3 times 8, because 1 times 8 would be those 8 ounces, so 3 times 8 would be 24, all right? Then, if we just multiply this by 10, then we have our 30 runners, and if we multiply this by 10, then we have 240 ounces, okay? So 30 runners would need 240 ounces. All right, so 1 runner, 8 ounces. 10 runners, 80 ounces. 30 runners, 240 ounces. All right. Okay, so like I said earlier, 1 pound equals 16 ounces. How many pounds of watermelon would the organizers need to buy for 30 runners? Well, 1 pound is 16 ounces. 2 pounds is 32 ounces. 3 pounds is 48 ounces. 4 pounds is 64 ounces. 5 pounds is 80 ounces. Yikes. I wonder how many pounds. Okay. So, how many pounds of watermelon would the organizers need to buy for 30 runners? So, we're using these tables a lot and they're very helpful, okay? So, if we have 16 ounces is 1 pound, then 160, because if you remember from before, when we figured this out, that 240 ounces, if we know that they need 240 ounces for 30 runners, right? So now we need to use this information when we go back to this chart over here. So this new chart, notice how we're putting that 240 ounces. If there's 16 ounces in 1 pound, we're trying to figure out how many pounds are in 240 ounces is what we're doing, okay? So we know that there are 16 ounces in 1 pound. And this is how you abbreviate ounces if you were not sure before. So for ounces, you would normally see OZ. That stands for ounces. For pounds, you would see LB. Okay, so if you ever see LB, that stands for pounds. And if you ever see OZ, that stands for ounces. Okay, so we know that there are 16 ounces in a pound. What we need to figure out is how many pounds, there should be an S there, sorry, that there would be in 240 ounces. So first, if we multiplied 16 by 10, that would get us 160 ounces, okay? And then if you take 240 minus 160, okay? So if you take the amount of ounces you need minus what you've already figured out, then you'd get 80. And 80 is half of 160. Okay, so to get from 1 pound equals 16 ounces to 10 pounds equals 160, that was times 10, right? And if you multiply times 5, you end up with 5, which means that you've multiplied by 10 and by 5, which would get you 15. So if 10 is half of 160, 5 more pounds for that 80 ounces. So 15 pounds altogether. So for 30 runners, that's 240 ounces or 15 pounds. All right. Okay. So what I'd like you to do now is I would like you to open up your student book to page 155. And it's called Fueling Up. So this is Unit 4, Module 3, Session 5, okay? We are going to use a ratio table to model and solve each of the problems below. Number 1 says, how many grams are equivalent to 12 kilograms? All right, we're going to make a little chart here. Let's use blue this time. I'm going to try and write as small as I can. Okay, we'll see here. So if we have if we're going to make a chart, let's make a chart that has kilograms on the top and grams on the bottom. All right. So if I have 1 kilogram, think about how many grams that is. That's 1,000 grams. If I have 2 kilograms, that's 2,000 grams. Ooh, okay. So notice that I'm multiplying by 1,000 each time. So if I have 10 kilograms, that would be 10,000 grams. So, well, if I just add 2 and 10, that equals 12, which means if I had 2,000 and 10,000, 12,000, which means that there are 12,000 grams. Okay, you can go ahead and write that on your paper, okay? All right, number 2. 8 kilograms is equivalent to how many grams? Okay, I'm going to make a chart again. I would like to use a different color just to be fun. All right, so I'm going to put kilograms on the top, just like I did before, and grams on the bottom. If I know that 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams, all right, I know that 8 kilograms is 8,000 grams. It's just that easy. Okay, so there's that one. That one was pretty easy. So the answer for this one was 8,000 grams and 12,000 grams for that one. Number 3, how many ounces are equivalent to 6 pounds? So we're not talking about grams and kilograms anymore. We're talking about ounces and pounds now, okay? All right, so let's switch colors again. Whoopsies. We'll use red this time. All right, we're going to put pounds on the bottom, or on the top, sorry. And remember that pounds is LB. And we'll put ounces on the bottom. And remember that is OZ. Okay, well for 1 pound, it's 16 ounces. So for 2 pounds, that's 32 ounces. For 3 pounds, that's 48 ounces. I'm just multiplying by 16, right? So 2 times 3, well, that's 6, right? So 6 times 16, that is 96. If I'm not sure, I can always go to the side. 16 times 6. 6 times 6 equals 36. 6 times 1 equals 6 plus 3 more. That's 96. So that's where I get my 96 ounces. And I'm just going to write that. And you can write the word out, or you could put 96 OZ. Either way. All right, there's your answer for number 3. For number 4, it says 12 pounds is equivalent to how many ounces? I'm going to change colors again. All right, so I'm going to make a chart again with pounds on the top and ounces on the bottom. If there is 1 pound, that's 16 ounces. Well, I know that 6 pounds is 96 ounces, and if I want to know 12 pounds, think about it. Well, if I double 6, I get 12. If I double 96, I get 192. So that's 192 ounces, or 192 OZ. And finally, number 5, race organizers for the 10K need to feed twice as many runners as their original plan. So if each runner gets 8 ounces of watermelon, how many ounces will they need to buy for 60 runners? How many pounds? All right, we're going to make one more chart. Okay, here we go. We're going to put pounds on the top like we've been doing before. And we're going to put ounces on the bottom. Well, 1 pound is 16 ounces. 10 pounds is 160 ounces. 20 pounds is 320 ounces. So 30 pounds would be 480 ounces. So 480 ounces, or, 30 pounds of watermelon I could also think of it as 8 times 60, and that's 480 ounces, okay? All right, so that's how I do page 155. So this brings me to what you are going to do on your own independently. I want you to complete page 156 independently, okay? So for this one, your problems are that Ryan bought 3 pounds of bananas to take to his race. When he returned home after his event, he put what was left on his kitchen scale. He discovered that he had eaten about 13 ounces. How much did Ryan eat? Show your work. All right. And then finally, or number 2, Liz, Dante, and Jasmine each ate 225 grams of oranges. How many more grams would the 3 of them need to eat to have eaten a kilogram of oranges? Show your work. And for number 3, you are going to fill in the ratio tables. Alrighty. So that is what you are going to do for homework tonight, boys and girls. All right. Excuse me. Have a wonderful rest of your day and keep up the great work. I'm proud of you.